Welcome to our webinar using Sefaria. While we're waiting for everyone to join, if you'd like to write in the chat where you're from, that would be great. And we'll begin in about a minute. We'll give everybody time to log in. We're going to start in about a minute. So if everybody wants to write where they're from, get themselves settled. If you want to follow along with us, you can also open a tab to Sefaria, www.sefaria.org. In addition to watching, if you'd like to do that, you could have that ready. And we created a source sheet that we're going to put the link in the chat, so you could also have that open if you'd like. Okay, so I think we're ready to begin. Not everybody will be here, but by the time we get into the meat of it, hopefully everybody will have arrived. Welcome to Using Sefaria. I'm Rachel Buckman. I'm Sefaria's Senior Learning and Engagement Specialist. And with me today is Ariel Margolis, and she is our Marketing Production Coordinator. She's going to be helping in the background, and it's really nice to have her here with us. As I mentioned, we have a source sheet that I'm not really going to be referring to during the webinar, but it's great for resource after. So you might want to open that up. And if you have questions during the webinar, if you write them in the chat, then we'll be taking breaks along the way, and Ariel will stop us and ask the questions, and then I'll be able to answer them for you. If there are questions that are more specific to one person, we're not going to take them on this webinar, but you can always write us at hello@sefaria.org. And in fact, if we don't get to your question, you can also do that. So we try to answer within 24 hours. So don't worry if you don't get all of your questions answered now, but we'll do our best for that. Okay, I'm going to just jump right in and share my screen. And so I hope that you're seeing now the Sefaria homepage. This is Sefaria's www.sefaria.org. And while we're looking at this, I just want to give you a little introduction to why we're doing this and what we're doing today. So from the beginning of Sefaria, we have had 3 areas of concentration. One is building a Jewish library, a Jewish online text library that's free and available to everybody. Our second area was giving people the opportunity to create and share their own content and with everybody. So our content creation by Sefaria users. And the third area was making our data open source so that developers could create with it. And until now, all of these things have been in one space. So we had one Sefaria website, and on it you had a library, you had a place to create content and share content, and you had all of the data, the API that you could use to create things. Now what we've done is we've redesigned it to separate them into the 3 spaces. We have the Sefaria library, we have voices on Sefaria, and that is where the user created content lives, and we have developers on Sefaria. And the reason for this also is because they don't all necessarily do their best work in the same structure. So when we had only one, everything had to fit into the same mold. And in this way, each one can look the way it makes the most sense for it to look. We don't have to be trying to jimmy something into a space that doesn't fit it. The other reason for it is that at Sefaria, we're always thinking of the future. 10 years ago, when Sefaria started, our founders were thinking about, they didn't exactly know where the world was going to go 10 years later, but they felt that digitized text was really important, and they did everything to make that the best possible so that when the next thing comes, we're ready. And that actually is exactly what's happening. now as our data is being used all over because of the work that was done before. So because we don't know also what the future is, we might have a fourth area or a fifth. And in this way, with these different modules, we can always add on. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at each of the three areas, and I'm going to go through, point out what's different, show you what's the same, and also talk about how they interact with each other. The biggest difference will be in voices, but we're going to start, as we always do, in the library. So here we are in the Sefaria library, and most of the things here are the same. The important things, all of the books that are there, all of the categories, all of the interconnected texts, and the searchability is all there. So what is new? So let's go over to the right, and you can see on the far right, we have the profile button. So I'm on an account that's called Sefaria Education. So we use our logo as our image. If you didn't add an image, it would be your initials. And if you added a photo, it would be a photo. And the profile button has changed a little bit because this now only relates to the library. So if I click on it, you can see the top has the name of the account. In most cases, it would be your name. And then we have account settings. We had these before. This is where you choose things for your account. You can change your email address, all those types of things. That is there. The Torah tracker, actually, I'm not going to click because since I'm on Zoom, it's going to take a very long time to load and we won't even see it. But this is where it can look at what you've been learning. So by category. So it will say, X percentage of my time I've been studying Tanakh, and then it also compares to the general public how much Tanakh they study. And it will have my favorite texts, and that's a very fun thing to look at. I can also change from English to Hebrew. If I go to Hebrew, I go to the Hebrew site. And this is a new button. We used to have it someplace else. New additions to the library. So this is really great. You click on it, and now it shows me what we've added. So as we add, we usually do it in bunches. So you can see that a month ago, we added these three texts. We tell you the name of the text, give you a little blurb about what it is. And of course, this is linked, so you could go right into it. And you can see what we did 3 months ago and 6 months ago. So if you're wondering what's new at Sefaria, what new things are in the library, then I would click New Additions. Help is our new help center. So I'm going to click on that. That actually takes me out of Sefaria and into our help center. And here I can search for what I'm looking for, or click this way to find help information. In a little while, we're going to replace the webinar that you're watching now with this one, because this one is the other way around. We're going to replace this one with the one that you're watching now because this is outdated. But that's where you're going to be able to, if you ever want to come back and watch the video a little bit more, you'll be able to find it there. So the Help Center is really helpful because it's always here for you. So that's where you're going to get help. And then you can log out here. So this is the profile button. Oh, and I forgot to mention the most important button that is brand new to us, but not to anybody who has used Google products. And this is the product switcher. It's right next to the left of the profile button. And this is how I switch from each of our products. So I click on the product switcher. It's got these 9 dots. Sometimes it's called the waffle. So I can go to the library. I can go to voices. That's the user created content. And I can go to developers on Sefaria. I'm going to close these now because we're going to go to them later. But when you want to switch between each one of them, you click on the product switcher, you click on which one you want to go to, and it will open a new tab and take you to where you want to go. So that's also new. This bookmark, this has your saved and your history, just like before. And the question mark also takes you to the Help Center. So that's the top right part of the screen. And then we have the search bar. And here again, you're going to see what's really different now about having the library separate from everything else. So let's say I would like to know some sources about Purim. So I'm going to type Purim in, from anyone who's done this before. You can do it in Hebrew, you can do it in English. We have a Hebrew keyboard in case you don't have a keyboard. And topics begin with a hashtag. So I'm going to click on the topic Purim. I want to know what texts are available about Purim. What are some interesting texts about Purim? And it takes me to a topic page, which we've had before, but the difference is that all of the results will be texts from the library, texts only. It will not have user-created materials because we are in the library, in the text library. So it has the introduction that you had before. It has all of these that have been curated, and they have a little introduction. They have a link right here. You can go right to the source in the library, but all of these are the library. And then we have an even larger, non-curated, non-introduced, not with an introduction, list of sources. And so this is where, and we have so many topics that if you would like to know about a topic, what sources you would find, texts from the library, you put it in the search bar. On the top here, so then you have text, takes you back to the home page. Topics, this is our topics page. You can type in a topic that you're looking for. We give you, I think it's about 20 random topics. If I refresh the page, I get 20 more. We have a featured topic for, this is coming up on Purim, so we put joy coming up on Adar, which is a joyous time. So that's our topic for these few days. We have more featured topics. We have the weekly Torah portion with topics, and we have the calendar. The next event is Rosh Chodesh Adar, which begins on February 16th at night. So all of these things, if I were to click on any of them, again, it's only going to give me things from the library. So that is a very big difference, that when you're in the library, you know that you are getting sources from the Jewish text library. What has stayed the same? Most things have stayed the same. I'm going to go back to the home page. And as I said, if you looked at this, it looks exactly the same as what you used to see. Here we have the learning schedule. So I'm going to go to this week's Torah portion, which is Mishpatim, and I'm going to open that up. And there we have it, all the same things, the A button to change all the things that we had before. I'm not actually going to go into them because I want to focus on the new things. If I click on the text, I have the resource panel, which has all the same things about this text, table of contents, search in this text, translations, and then all of the connected texts that we've always had. They are all still there. And you will notice that we still actually have the sheets that are connected to this verse. But this is what is different, because sheets are not going to show up in the library section. It's going to open a new tab to voices. And you can tell that because we have this little icon over here on the right, which shows that we're popping out to something else. So there are 147 public source sheets that include this verse. So I'm going to click on it, and it opened a new tab, and we have all of the sheets with this verse on it. And I can go through and see all of the sheets. So I still have access to them, but now I have two tabs open. I actually always work with two tabs open. I always have the library, I always have voices, and I can toggle back and forth between the two. So we have the sheets, and we have, and it takes us out of there. We also, let's say, I'm going to close that because we're going to open it again. Let's say I would like to add these two first verses to a sheet. I can be in the library and I say, oh, that would be perfect for my sheet. I still have add to sheet, but as you might expect, when I click on it, it's green. First of all, voices is green. It tells me what I'm adding, and then I do want it to add to my test sheet. I'm going to click add to sheet. And now it's been added. I have two choices here. I could click on my sheet and it'll open another tab, but yeah, and actually that is what I want to do. So I'm going to do that. And now I have, this is my sheet, and it should be on the bottom. And there it is on the bottom, it always adds to the bottom. that is the source that I just added from the library. So even though I'm in the library, I can still add something to my sheet. It's just going to open it in another tab, in another Voices tab. And the third thing before I open for questions so far is this is not a new thing. This doesn't have to do with what we're talking about, but we had taken it off temporarily for a technical reason and have added it back, and that's web pages. And this is a great feature. We have a piece of code that many blogs, web pages use to connect Sefaria to their work. So if they cite a source and they write it in the right way, it'll connect to Sefaria. But we can go the other way as well. So let's say I'm going to actually use a different verse. I'm going to use from the 10 Commandments. I'm going to use Shabbat, and I'm going to click on the web pages. And now you're going to see a whole list of different websites that use Sefaria's linker. And I'm going to choose Times of Israel blogs. And I'm going to open one that says 6 days shall you work. And now it takes me out of Sefaria to the blog. And you can see all the places. Here is this Exodus 28-11. That's our text. So you can see that it also connects back into Sefaria. So we've added that back. As I said, that doesn't really have anything to do with our new structure, but I wanted to let everybody know. Some people wrote they were missing it, wanted you to know that it's back. And now I just talked a whole lot. And so I'm going to take a break, and Ariel will ask any questions that you've had on anything we've done so far, not on voices yet, because that's what we're going to do next.
Thanks, Rachel. It looks like we have a comment here that says, I used to be able to search a word and see where it was used in Tanakh only or Tanakh in commentary. I'm not able to do that now.
Actually, I think that you can. We're going to do it. So I'm in the library, and I'm going to do a word. I'm going to do it I guess I'll do it in English. So I'm going to do the word water. I want to see where does water appear. Now, I'm not going to click on topics because I'm not looking for the topic of water. I'm looking actually for the water. So I'm going to click this first one that says search for water. And now I'm going to click, and it is going to find only in the library where the word water comes. And I can use the filters on the side. If I only want Tanakh, I can click Tanakh, and now it's only going to give me that. And let's say I don't even want all of Tanakh. Let's say I just want from the Torah, I just want the first 5. I can pick whatever I want, and it will filter for me all the texts, and then I can open them up. So I can still search that way. And if you want to search from within a text, we still can do that. So let me open, we can do the same thing. I'm going to open Genesis, Breshit, and I'm going to click on that. And we have this search in this text. Now it's only going to search in Genesis. And here I'm going to put, let's do it in Hebrew. Let's do Mayim in Hebrew. And now I'm going to enter, and it's going to give me over here on my results all the places in the book of Genesis that the word Mayim, water, appears. So I hope that helps. So searching within the library is still available in the same way that you did it before. But it's not going to come up with all the places that water appears in source sheets, because that would be someplace else. Is that it,
Thanks,
Ariel?
Rachel. Yeah, we have got, I think, one more here.
Okay.
Regarding the website feature in the library, how do we link a website to this feature?
Oh, you mean like the web pages? Okay. So that is something that you need to write. When we get to the developer section, which is the last part, they have a way to write to the developers. And all that information is on the developer website. And so I'll try to remember when we get there to show you where that is. I certainly will show you how to write to the developers. You ask them and they'll tell you. Hello at Sefaria answers everything that's not a technical developer question. And then we have developers at Sefaria, which that gets you to an engineer. Hello will get you to me, and I won't be able to help you. But I do know that there's a piece of code that goes into your website, and it's quite easy to do. And all that documentation that's why we have that developer section. So I'll try to remember that one when we get there. Okay.
Thank you.
Are
We
we
have
good?
another question. Is the Hebrew website the same as the English website?
Yes. Yes. So I'm not going to actually go there now, but if you go to the Hebrew website, you will have the same 3 sections. And yes, it is structured the same.
Great. And I think one more here. Can you search on the PL form of a particular verb?
So the search is going to be, it's not going to be that specific that it's asking a certain binyan, it's asking a certain form. It's going to, you're just going to put the shorish in, it's going to do it, but you can do like an exact search. Let me see, let me do that again. I'll do a Hebrew one this time again. So when you search, here I searched, and here you can do exact matches only. So if you want to do a certain form, if you type it that way, then you click exact matches only. And I think it'll come up pretty well. It'll do it. But yeah. And if you have a question about that, you can email hello at Sefaria. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to voices, because I think that a lot of the different part is there. So again, how we would get there is we use our switcher, our waffle, we click on that, and then we click voices. And now it's going to open another tab, and we're in voices. Sometimes you'll need to log in. You might need to log in again, but it's the same login that you had before. And but you see now, because I was logged in, I'm logged in the other, but maybe the first time you might have to log in again. So this is where all of, as we say, community powered Jewish learning. This is sharing, discovering, joining the conversation. This is all user generated content. If you look at the homepage here, we have this week's Torah portion, and we have the calendar on the top, and then we have all these different topics. There's just one way that you can click through. This is where you're going to create sheets. So we actually have, looking at it right away, you can see 3 buttons. We have 2, the we create button on the bottom. We have the create button on the top, so that we want you to be able to right away create a new sheet. I'm not going to go into all of the creating a sheet. It's the same as what it was before. But I want to do the same thing of starting with the profile button on the side. And this is really important, because a lot of people were a little confused, understandably, about where their sheets were, because they were going to the text, they were going to the Sefaria library. And we know that in the Sefaria library, now we know that you don't have sheets there. So in the profile menu, we didn't have a way to see your sheets. But now that we're in voices, it says profile. And if I click profile, I go to my profile, and all of my sheets are listed here. So sheets are always going to be in voices. On the profile page, I can edit my profile. I can change, if let's say when you automatically make your account, it's going to have your initials. But if you want to put an image or a logo or whatever, you can upload one here. Here's where you edit your profile. I'm going to show you later, when I show you the new layout for the sheets, we are highlighting the authors more. So you might want to have a more robust profile. So you might want to, even if you had one before, you might want to go back and revisit it and add to it. So this, as I said, is our Sefaria education account. So we don't have a whole lot, because it's not like one person. But if it were my account, I would maybe, want to write where I work. I might want to write something about what I like to learn, anything that you think would be interesting to people. I could put my Jewish education if I wanted. If I were a rabbi, I might want to put where I went to school. I might want to, all kinds of things. And then if I wanted to also, let's say I have a YouTube channel or a LinkedIn, I can put all of that there if I wanted people to be able to reach out to me. So you can edit your profile. I recommend making a robust profile. You can also create sheets here, and you can create a collection there. So this is really important. If you're looking for your sheets, you go to your profile button, you click profile, and you will see all your sheets. You used to find it before, you had one profile menu, one button like that. Now you have one for each place that you're visiting. We have saved history. Those are the sheets, the same things, saved sheets, saved history. We have account settings, which we already saw, site language, this we already saw, help we already saw, and logging out we already saw. Again, we have the product switcher. And here, actually, I don't really know. I have a red button, so I have a notification, but this will be notifications only about sheets. So I don't know. Somebody that I probably follow made a new sheet public. Yeah. Oh, or somebody's following. It's not me. It's Sefaria Education. Somebody 23 minutes ago was following us. And also, oh, this is someone who we know, a good friend of Sefaria, and he 2 hours ago published a new sheet. Whoops. Oh, and there it is. There's his sheet. So, and actually this is very nice because you can see a really nice profile. So he added a picture, Lauren added a picture, and he wrote about himself, which is important because you're reading his sheet. It's nice to know something about him. If I decide that I like his sheets, I can follow him, which we see that I already am following him because that's how I got notified that he wrote a new sheet. So if there's somebody that I see, oh, I really like that person's sheet, I can follow them here. If I unfollow him, I could follow him again. And then anytime that person publishes a new sheet, I get notified. And these are the topics that are on this sheet. So I'm going to go back to where we were. So that's the notification. This next to it, the question mark, is the help center, and create will get me to creating a sheet. If I search, so let's search for Purim now. And if you were all participating with me, I'd have you yell out what you think I'm going to find when I search for the topic of Purim. And I know that you all are saying sheets. Exactly. I'm not getting texts here because that would be in the library. Voices is user-created content, and you can see that we've given a little more space to the summary. So you might want to rethink, if you've done sheets, made them public, you might want to make sure you have a nice summary, because as I'm going through, a sheet about Purim could be on so many different aspects. So if I'm looking for something in particular, the summary is very helpful. And it shows me who wrote it, and it shows me the summary, and it links to the sheet. This little bookmark means that I could save it. I could bookmark it if I wanted to for later. So that is the difference of voices. Voices is only user-created content, and my search will reflect that. Also, same thing in the topic section. The results that I will get if I click through any of these will be user-generated sheets and created sheets. And then I have collections. Collections are usually organizations, could be an individual, puts together a collection of sheets, puts a description of them, and when you click on them, you see all of the here with like Beit Avichai lectures. So now it explains what it is. They have their logo, and we have their sheets, and it also says a little bit about each of the sheets. So collections is also very helpful for people. What has stayed the same? Most of the things, again, have stayed, oopsie, I jumped to the wrong place. Most of the things did stay the same, but I'm going to show you a few other things before I get to that. So I showed you the expanded profile, that people who find your sheets are going to want to know who wrote them, and you want to know about who wrote the other sheets. So we encourage you to make a very strong, profile. If I'm on a sheet of my own, so I'm going to go to my test sheet. I'd like to show you what we have here, all the same things in a little bit different place. So here you see is our profile. It is kind of big. You want to know who made it. Starting on the left, so when we made the new editor, we wanted to help people to know how to use it. So we made a guide, and many of you probably just close the guide. But if you want to open it, refer to it again. How do you use the editor? You can go through our guide this way. You also can close the guide. Anytime you want to come back to it, there it is with the light bulb. The A is the usual source translation, source with translation, the layout if you have a bilingual source, and also to make it larger or smaller. So that's pretty much the same. The publish button, now this sheet I don't want to publish, but when I am ready to publish, I would click it. I could change the title, I could leave the title, I write a description, short and to the point is really, really helpful, and I can add topics to it, and then I would click publish. I'm not going to click publish because nobody really wants to see this sheet. To the right of publish are these three dots, which some people call the shish kebab. And we click on that, and that has all the other goodies that we used to have in the resource panel, but now we have them here. I can save a sheet. That would be somebody else's sheet. I can copy a sheet, which I could copy my own sheet. Maybe I want to edit it or make a separate copy for a different audience, but I also could copy somebody else's sheet. I could edit my collections. I could export to Google Docs, which is what I do to do my advanced formatting and to do my printing, and I can share it. If I share it, it's going to give me a link to the sheet, which I could share in any way that I want. I can share on WhatsApp, I can put it in or anywhere I want it. I can share it on Facebook, I can share on X, and I can share by email. So those are all options for you. Your description is going to go here. I don't have a description. I didn't make it public. There's really no description except that it's my test sheet. But I could write it right here, add my description. So these are all of the things that you had before, but they're just in different places. I'm going to go to somebody else's sheet, again on their three dots, so we don't have all the same ones, but I could add it to my collection. I can export it to Google Docs if I want to print it or edit it. I can share it, I can copy it, I can save it. When I'm reading somebody else's sheet, I might be interested to go deeper into that one of their sources. So I can click on the citation either in Hebrew or in English and think for a second, where do you think it's going to take me? It is going to open a new tab and put me in the library. So you can see blue is the library, green is voices. Now I'm in the library. There's the source that was on that sheet. I can click on it. I can do all the things that I can do in the library, and I can just go back to the other tab, and now I'm back in this person's sheet, and I can continue reading. Another thing I can do, you notice that when I clicked on it, it turned green, and there's a new button on the bottom that says Add to Sheet. So maybe I see this source and I say, oh, that would be perfect for one of my sheets. Or I can even do it on text that this person wrote. So I click on it, I click Add to Sheet. It tells me what it's adding. It tells me where I'm putting it. If I wanted to go someplace else, I have all my sheets here, but I'm going to put it on my test sheet. I'm going to Add to Sheet. If I click on Rachel's test sheet, it will open another tab. I have it already open, so I'm just going to go here and refresh. And at the bottom of the page, there is that paragraph from the other person's sheet, which is now on my sheet. I want to show again, here's another person with a really nice profile. I can see who Rabbi Alex Kress is, and I can follow if I would prefer. I could follow him. So again, the profile is front and center, so you know what you're reading and you can follow if you'd like. I'm going to go back to my test sheet so I can show you. I showed you one way to add content to your sheet that's from someone else's sheet. But what else I can do, and we've been doing this for a while, we have the plus, and I can add a text from the library, I can add media, I can add an image. that's what we've done before. And I also showed you before, but I'll do it again. If I'm in the library and I'm in text, I can add it by going add to sheet. So there's 3 different ways. I can add it from the library, I can add it from somebody else's sheet, and I can add it from within the sheet. 3 ways to add content to your sheet. And then again, to print, I'm going to export to Google Docs, and I can do all of my final editing, and it will not go with this big your page. I can do this to show you what it's going to look like. Although something funny popped up the last time I did it, so let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't gonna have to look into that. But generally, it'll just export it to Google Docs, and then it will not have the author section on it, and then it's very nice to share. So I'm going to stop there. I imagine there are questions.
Yes, there are quite a few questions, Rachel.
We're not surprised, and we're ready.
All right, so let's dive in. Are there any chance of returning the customized tabs to the user-created sheets?
We heard that comment. There are a few others. I'm sure there are other questions here. I'm going to give the same answer. We heard that one. That one is under discussion. That one actually has implications to other things in our data. So that is the hesitation, I believe, there, because it ends up that we have a gazillion tags. It ends up with a lot more. It complicates some other things. So that's something that the engineering team, the product team are going to be talking about. For right now, we do have thousands of tags. So right now you are limited to the tags that we already have and not custom tags.
Thank you. Next question is, can you sort the list of sheets that you've made?
Okay, so that's, I could have asked these before because we have been reading all of your emails and we do know a bunch of the questions. So one of the things that some of you and all of us have noticed is that now in the profile, we do not have a search bar. So that is definitely something that we are going to be working on, and you'll need to wait a little while and it's going to come back, and that will help you to sort things in your, people we have hundreds of sheets. I've been hearing, I didn't know how many people have hundreds of sheets, and it is hard to find them. What you can do for now, if you know that the name of your sheet or some titles, you can use the find feature on your computer. I'm going to put in Purim and see what happens. So I have, so that it does search for your tags. So I have here 51 places that Purim is, so whether it's in the title or whether it's in the tag. So if you've tagged them, you could use your computer's find feature. That is not optimal. That's not where it's going to be at the end, but for now, that's what I recommend. Yeah, next question.
Is it possible to change the order of sources in a sheet?
Yes, it is very possible to change the order of sources in a sheet. Let me go back to my test sheet. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do it. So one way is just to cut it and paste it. So if I want to take this, I'll do a longer one. Let's say I want to take this Haggadah text. I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna do, on my computer, I have a Mac, I'm gonna do Control X. So I just cut it and I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna paste it. And of course, because I'm doing it, oh no, there it is. So I just cut it and I pasted it. That's one way. And the other way is the dragging. I know not everybody's fond of this, but what you do is you click, I'm clicking and I'm dragging. And if I go above, I know it's sometimes hard. You got to find that sweet spot. And we found it and we're going to put it there and I'm going to let go. And there it goes. So those are the two ways. Personally, I like to cut and paste. If I'm worried about losing it, I would copy and paste, and once it's in place, I would delete the other one. But I don't think there's any reason really to worry about it. But if you are, I do generally take the extra precautions in everything that I do. So yeah, so yes, you can do that. I'm not going to take as many sheet questions because that doesn't really have as much to do with our new structure. You can find those answers in the Help Center. We have a lot of help articles on all aspects of the sheet. You can also pull out your light bulb and look again in the Quick Start guide, and you can email us at hello@Sefaria. Ariel, you have something else?
Yeah. When my saved items or bookmarked items are unavailable, what am I doing wrong? Where did they go? Like my saves aren't sticking.
Yeah. There could be a bug and you need to write us and we'll look into it. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're there. I think recently we've been having a little bit of a trouble with save. So if it's a recent problem, we're working on it. But in general, you should be able to find your saved texts and sheets. So your saved sheets are going to be in Voices. Your saved texts are going to be in the library. Whereas before you had them, like a different tab on the same thing. Yes. Next.
So if I wanted to create a presentation rather than a source sheet, can I create the source sheet and then cut and paste into Google Slides?
Yes. Yes. Believe so. Next.
Can I print and edit every sheet or only those that the creator specifically made public?
Well, you don't have access to making a sheet public means that the person has made it searchable, which means that you can find it. So any sheet that you find by any of these kinds of things, you can find by, let's say I have an author that I like Sarah Walkenfeld, who works here at Sefaria. She makes wonderful sheets. So here are all these people, I can click and I can go to her profile page and I can pick any of her sheets that she has made public. She has also sheets that she hasn't made public. So any sheet that you find, you can print it, you can copy it, because people have agreed to do that by making it public. They have agreed to share it. And we encourage that. Actually, a very small percent, it's only about, I think, 10% of all sheets created are published. But if you're doing and I can understand certainly why, like, my test sheet is not public because it's worthless to anybody. And sometimes people make things that are only worth something to them or they don't want to share. But if you're making something, you've put time into it and it's of good quality, it's wonderful to share it with everybody. It has information that people could use. Yes, next question.
Can you still display sheets with text and translations in columns, or is it only possible with text on top and translation below?
Yes, it's only possible with translations on top, or it's only that way. That already was when we made the change to the updated editor. That happened. Wait, I want to get a sheet up here because I'm not showing you anything fun while I'm asking my questions. Okay. I have no idea what any of this is. Oh, Yeshivat Maharat. They have lovely sheets. Yeah, so they have to show it. It only shows like this. The choices that you have are in the A menu, and you can have the sources all in Hebrew. You can have the sources all in translation. The reason we say source, actually, because we have some books now that the original, is not Hebrew. And then there's a translation, and then source with translation. You can have it next to each other. You can have it stacked. You can have it next to each other. Oh, so I guess I answered you wrong. And if this is what you meant, you can have it next to each other the other way. So you do have that choice still in the A menu if you have a bilingual text. But it's for the whole sheet. Okay, next question. Sorry, I didn't do that one so well.
This might be for the next section. I'm not sure, but she writes that I write a blog for the Times of Israel on Parshat Hashavua. How do I link this? I also have a YouTube channel for Modern Midrashim. How do I link them?
Great. Well, I'm very excited about that. But it is a question, the linking is a question for the next section, and I'm not going to be giving you the answer here. I might point you to the answer. I'm certainly going to give you the email and to ask my colleagues in the development in the developer department that help people with stuff like that. We will help you with that, but not on this, not right now, not from me. Okay, next question.
Can all of these things be done in the Sefaria app?
Oh, such a good question. Thank you. So sheets are not on the app. We were never able to create or edit a sheet on the app. Sheets now don't appear on the app, and these different modules don't appear. What's on the app is the library. So that's what that is. But if you want to do it on your mobile device, you can use the mobile web. You use your browser and you go to www.sefaria.org, and then you can go to voices. And as you see, the address, the URL for voices is voices.sefaria.org. And you can, and we have the switcher, so the mobile web is the same as the website, but it's on your phone. So if you wanted to be doing sheets, you need to use mobile web. The app itself is only the library. How about one more, because I want to have time to go to the developer, and then we can take more at the end if we have time.
Sure. Okay, when you copy to a source sheet, can you have it side by side? I think you may have answered this already, but rather than Hebrew and English underneath, I can do that as I'm reading from Sefaria, but not when I copy a section.
Well, once you put it onto your sheet, then you can decide the layout of your sheet with the A menu. So it can be side by side. But all of these options are user options. So when you make your sheet however you want, but the person who is reading your sheet, so here I'm reading this Maharat sheet, and let's say I prefer to have the sources next to each other, but I want the Hebrew, let's say, on the right and not on the left. And so I can make that choice for myself, and I can move it so that the Hebrew is on the right and the English is on the left. Somebody else who's looking at the sheet says, I want it stacked. I want Hebrew on the top, English on the bottom. They can do that for themselves. So the layout when you're on the site, a sheet on the site or a text on the site, the layout is the choice of the reader. It's not really the choice of the creator. When you export it to Google Docs, then you make choices like that. But when you're on the website, it's the reader who makes the choice. The same thing about if I want Hebrew or English at all. If I only want English text, I don't even want, or no, the opposite. Let's say I only want the translation. I don't want the Hebrew. The Hebrew isn't meaningful to me. I can view it that way. It's the reader, the learner's choice of how they want to view it, which actually is kind of nice that the power is in the person who is learning from it. Okay, I said that was the last question. I will take more at the end. I just don't want to run out of time. So I'm going to switch to the last module that we have, which is developers. And this is for people who are using Sefaria's API to build their own technology projects. So you can see it looks totally different because the needs of it are different than the library, and the needs of it are different than the sheets. And so it gets its own space. So the first part we have, so Sefaria from the beginning has always believed in being open source, that we can't do everything. There's so many ideas of what people want to do with this text that we are going to digitize it, organize it, document it really well so that other people can use it and create whatever they want. So on the top of this, we feature 3 projects that different people have made. So here is a holiday machzor. Here is an interesting one. We have gotten this request a lot. haven't been able to fit it in with what we're doing. And here somebody went ahead and did it and made it possible for everybody else. This is, you can create your own personalized Torah learning schedule, and it gives you reminders. So you could even use one of the Sefaria schedules. There are people all the time who say, I want, like by the end of the day, if I haven't learned what I was supposed to learn, I want a reminder. So I haven't actually looked at this one. It's called kovea.org. You have to make, I think, a free account. And then, but it used our data. So we call it a Powered by Sefaria project. And if you would have questions about Kovea, you would not write to hello at Sefaria, because it's not our project. You would write to them, and I'm sure that they have some place where you can reach out to them. But we like to highlight these and show you what people have done. So we have 3 at the top, and then on this button, all Sefaria powered projects, we have all of the projects that we know of. We know there are way more. We're trying to encourage people to let us know. And it has a little bit, we have them categorized, and we have them linked with a sentence of a description, and you can see all the different things that there are. There's all kinds of things that we did not make, but other people used our data to create. And that is really a big part of what Sefaria is about. It's probably the least known part, but it's a really exciting part. And as people are able to code better using AI, and so more people can do this, there will be more and more projects. Down below are all of the information that you need, the data, the documentation, all the different things that you need. And at the bottom, we have a special developer newsletter to update you on things that developers would need to know about. So if you would want to sign up for that, you would do that here. On the top, we have, again, the documentation, all kinds of things that, and this is where the linker would be. Here, look, here's your answer. So I went to Docs, and I'm going to linker, and it tells me what to do. And if you had a question, you would get in touch. Only this would not get you in touch with hello at Sefaria, because I wouldn't know how to help you. This takes you to the developers, and that's who you want. But again, please don't use this one for general questions. That's hello. This is just for that. The API reference, again, if you know what this is about, this is for you. GitHub, again, same thing. Donate, we have on all of our pages. We are a nonprofit. We always are very grateful to our donors who have made all of this possible. So basically that is the developer portal. If you're, if you are so inclined, this will mean a lot to you. And we're always trying to improve the data and the explanations, the documentation. We want this to be so easy for you to grab so that you can make all kinds of wonderful things. And we hope if you do make things that you will share them with everybody by letting us know. There's a form, I believe, that we fill out, or you let us know. It says it on the developer portal, so that we can feature it and add it to our list. And we're so proud of all of those people and all of those projects that were created using our data, because really that's part of our vision. So I have just presented you with so much information, and I know if it were me, I would forget half of it by the time I sit in front of a computer. So I want to tell you where you can go for help. So first, I've mentioned many times the Help Center. That's the question mark in the top right. You can click on that, and you can get a lot of answers there. hello@sefaria.org. Send us an email. We will really are pretty good about getting back to you within 24 hours. If you see a bug, if you see a problem, if you have a problem, if you don't remember, don't feel silly if you ask something that I even explained 3 times. It takes many, many times and actually getting your hands on it to learn it. So please don't feel bad about asking something over and over. Make sure that you're signed up for our newsletters. Ariel is going to put in the chat the link to our newsletters. We have general newsletters. So like when we launched this new structure, we sent out a couple newsletters to tell people about it. So you want to be on the cutting edge. That's what you get in the newsletters. We have some special interest newsletters. We have a weekly Parsha email that goes out every Monday to I think it's about 30,000 people. We have a timely topics email that goes out every Tuesday on a different topic. That's also a growing list. You might want to be on that. And on the link that Ariel is putting, there's many different boxes. Just check if you're an educator. There's a box for that. We have an educator email. So all those places are for help, and we're so glad that you joined us. I'm going to stop the share so that I can, or I don't know, are there 2 more questions that we can do quickly before I say goodbye?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll talk fast. We'll take maybe 2.
Sure. Is there a way to change the name of God?
Yes, good question. That used to be on the sheet itself, but now that printing is in Google Docs, it's a printing feature. So that is on the Google Docs. That's on the Google Docs extension. So, and that you can learn about. I did not discuss the Sefaria for Google Docs, but in the Help Center, we have a whole section, Sheets in Google Docs, and that we have about voices on the sheets. And we have Sefaria for Google Docs. It tells you how to add that as an extension to your Google Docs. And there you can do the divine name replacement, not on the sheet itself. On the sheet itself, you have to do it manually. Actually, sometimes manually is better because there are instances where, I mean, it's not doing it like with any thinking. It's just seeing these letters and exchanging it. And I don't have time now, but I could tell you that there are some places where it should not be replaced, but it would replace it. So if you do it manually, you make sure that you're really doing it the right way. But yes, it's on the Google Doc extension, not on the sheet itself. And one more.
All right. Are there any plans to return the functionality of including the customized tabs for our sheets?
Okay, so as I said, the customized tags is part of the discussion. And I don't know what other functionality you're referring to, but we made this change about a year ago to the updated editor, and we are going to be holding to this. The search bar is going to most likely come back. That might be in a little while. We're going to work on it. But all the other things we are recommending that you export to Google Docs, they are the expert. We want to do what we're the experts in. We're the experts in text. We're the experts in dealing with all of these connections, interconnections with texts and linking and making a source sheet. But as far as formatting, Google Docs has, Google has thousands of engineers that work on doing all of that. So we're going to kind of piggyback on that, have you export to Google Docs and make your work beautiful. You can share it when it's not at the most beautiful that you thought. It's still very valuable to other people. But if you want it to look at a certain way for when you print it and hand it out, then you can do that on Google Docs. Thank you so much for being here. I know that people still have questions, so please email us. I know that tomorrow morning for me, actually I'm in Israel, so it's at night for me, but tomorrow morning, I am very much looking forward to seeing all of the questions that you have, and I will do my utmost to answer them all, pretty quickly. We're so glad that you joined us, and please keep using Sefaria, enjoy it, and learn a lot. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Ariel, for helping us in the background, and you did a great job. So thank you all.